Obama is urging world leaders to put some pressure on China to resume a dialogue on Tibet. This as violent protests continue by activists who want the region's independence from China. And in India, Tibetan exiles have started a hunger strike after Indian police arrested more than 100 demonstrators.
Things are quite calm around the Chinese embassy in the Indian capital today after almost a week of daily riots and clashes with police. Today, the Tibetan parliament in exile alleged that the Chinese government was using the Dalai Lama's threat of resignation as propaganda to stop the ongoing demonstrations. They also demanded an independent international investigation into the Chinese crackdown on Tibetan protesters.
At such a time of crisis, we are not going to talk about independence or autonomy. We are just going to put all of our efforts together to find a solution to restoration of human value inside Tibet, to protect human life inside Tibet.
Meanwhile, Pope Benedict XVI is also appealing for a peaceful resolution between Chinese and Tibetans. Speaking at the Vatican, the Pope said, quote, "My heart feels pain and sadness seeing the suffering of so many people." And in China, officials have confirmed the Olympic torch will be carried into Tibet to mark the start of the Olympic Games in August. That's despite protests from activists who want the route to be changed because they don't consider Tibet to be a part of China.
And joining me in our studios from our Ottawa bureau to further discuss the situation in Tibet is Cheryl Hotchkiss with Amnesty International. Cheryl, thanks a lot for coming in to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Can you first give us an update on the situation in Tibet right now? We know that you do have contacts that are out there. What can you tell us about that situation right now, and what are your concerns?
Well, at the moment we're aware that the events that have prompted such interest publicly has started on March 1st when a large group of monks began to walk to Lhasa to protest the fact that they were being forced to denounce the Dalai Lama and not being allowed to practice their religion freely. That led to the arrest of at least some 50 monks as a result of their protest, and led to a series of protests in support of the monks in different parts of the region. We are aware that there has likely been, there's reportedly been some excessive use of force in arrests and the treatment of demonstrators. And we know that those that have been arrested, we're not entirely clear on how many, nor is anyone aware of their names and where they are located. We also have serious concerns about their treatment in prison. Ill treatment and torture is a common practice, as well as the lack of access to lawyers, healthcare, and other supports for those who've been arrested.
Now, this has been an ongoing battle for an extremely long period of time. You yourself told me earlier that Amnesty has been involved with China for a number of years. Do you foresee there's going to be any kind of resolution, or can there be any kind of resolution, or have things just gone beyond that?
Well, Amnesty International believes that there's always the possibility, there's always hope that things can change, and we see the opportunity of the Olympics as a channel or a potential for change, and that China is being watched by the world community and might use this opportunity to show the world what it can do to protect human rights.
Speaking of the Olympics, of course, one event that we are keeping an eye on that's coming up quite soon is the bringing of the Olympic torch into Tibet to mark the Games in August. We know that activists don't want the torch to be brought in Tibet. They want that route to be changed, but officials are saying that route's going to be confirmed. So are there concerns that there could be more of an uprising around that time?
Of course, there are concerns that might potentially happen. We believe that the Chinese government should allow for peaceful protest of any kind, that people in Tibet and other areas of China have the right to freedom of assembly and freedom of speech, and we believe that it's possible for them to do that while allowing for the events marking the Olympics to go on. However, we are taking this opportunity to continue to put pressure on the Chinese government along with other activists to say we are watching, we are paying attention, and we intend to do so right up to the Olympics and following the Olympics.
Well, we're certainly going to keep an eye on things, as I know you are going to. Cheryl, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us today.
Thank you for your interest.